This week on The Digital Coffee, you could lose your Facebook group if you don't take action. Instagram tagging is about to get way easier, which means probably way more spam. And Twitter, X, wants your advertising back. What's he going to do about it? Find out after this. Good morning, and welcome to The Digital Coffee. This is your weekly dose of digital marketing and social media news. My name is Amanda Webb. I am a digital marketing ROI trainer and consultant, which basically means that I help businesses just like yours get more return on investment from the time, the energy, and the cash that you spend on your marketing. And particularly, I specialize in my first love, my last love, Google Analytics. So if you need any help with that, give me a shout. I am clasping a mug, and I can see May King has already told me that she has nothing in her mug. She's like me. There is nothing in May King's mug. There is nothing in my mug, but we are supposed to be enjoying this coffee break together. So let me know what you're drinking. I have just finished a cup of tea. You don't need to feel sorry for me, but don't want to go all slurpy during the show. So I can see we've got 2 comments in already. Oh, I can also see, just for later, my Elon Musk bell is ready to go. And I can see May King forgot to put the kettle on. You're going to have to go uncaffeinated for the whole show. Hello to Hannah. Great to see you here, Hannah. Coffee ready and looking forward to hearing my wisdoms. Well, we'll see if you think I'm wise or not when we finish this session. Also, I'd love to know if you're watching from where you're watching from in the world. And secondly, I'd love to know which channel you're watching on. So I can see May King's on YouTube. I can see Hannah is on LinkedIn. Tell me where you're watching. Are you watching on Facebook? You're going all old school because that's where this show originated. Are you watching on YouTube? Are you watching on LinkedIn? If you're watching on Twitter, you can tweet me. X. You know what I mean. I am live there, but the comments don't come in, so I won't be able to see until afterwards. I keep banging my microphone. Hope that's not too noisy. Woo! Ding, ding. And I can see there's Simon. Great to see you, Simon, watching on LinkedIn. And hello to Sarah, who's watching on LinkedIn from a very rainy Windsor. Just, it wouldn't be a show if I didn't talk about the weather. Sun hasn't come up today. It's like winter here. It's like I've had to switch my lights way up so that you can even see me. Like, what's the story, world? What's the story, world? There we go. Oh, and hello. You see, I was just about to leave and there's more of you. Good morning, Tamsin. Great to see you watching on LinkedIn. And great, flying the flag for Facebook. Great to see you here. Lee, you actually have a lemon and ginger herbal tea. Now, that is unusual, Lee, because you're normally on the coffee. But, sometimes it's good to go for those nice options, isn't it? Right. You're here because you want to know what's going on in the world of digital marketing, right? So let's talk about that.
Hi, I'm Danielle from Redbow, and you're watching The Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
Now, I know, like me, a lot of you still go back to Facebook every single day, right? You're still logging into Facebook. What keeps you coming back? Well, if, like me, it's groups, you're not alone. I think a lot of people, when I talk to, normal other human beings that aren't marketers, tell me that they like the groups in Facebook, which makes sense, right? Because they are all surrounding a specific topic that you're interested in. They're great communities and places to meet new people. Groups are awesome. And us marketers know this. We've created groups. We've had struggles with groups because we know the reach has gone way down. My theory, so many groups, hard to get everything into the feed. But now, if like me, you've set up a group in the past and you've kind of let it slide, maybe you go and post in there now and then, but really you've let it slide. You don't keep an eye on any of the notifications that are coming from there. You might lose the group. Yeah, Facebook are notifying Facebook group admins that unless they're active in the group, they're going to take their admin away. They're going to give it to someone else. Yeah, so that community that maybe it was a couple of years ago, but you spent ages building just going to hand that over to maybe some weirdo in your group. You know, the one that's always leaving the annoying comments or that you always have to delete the stuff from. Yeah, him or her. Yeah. Which isn't good, right? Which isn't good. That's going to be extremely frustrating. And you know, the other thing is I've got all these old groups. You know, I went through a phase of creating groups for everything. And now I'm going to have to go through them all, right? And delete them all, because goodness knows what happens if I lose my admin. I won't be able to do anything if somebody is a bit abusive, which is slightly annoying. Slightly annoying. Also, I think the reason they must be doing this is it's made us think again, well, actually, maybe I should go back to my Facebook group. Maybe I should be more active there, because the more active groups, the more content they have to push out into the feed and the more space they have for ads. It's all about money at the end of the day, isn't it? I can see we've got a couple of comments on that. How do they define active? Good question. Good question. Very good question. Very good question. It's raining again in Anglesey. You know, there's been a rain cloud over us since July, I think. July. Simon says the moral of this is that I should be my own group's weirdo. Yes, Simon, be the annoying person in your own group, and then they'll give it to someone that might manage it better. Who knows? Who knows?
I'm Ant McGinley, and you're watching The Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
Now, you may or may not know that I've recently launched a podcast. So, of course, I got exceptionally excited with this bit of news, because I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. You have to wait, because promoting a podcast is a lot of hard work. I remember from the last time I did it, it's not all your standard digital marketing stuff that you used to do. You have to do a whole lot of different stuff and learn new techniques if you want anyone to ever listen to it. So myself and Making have recently launched a podcast based on our LinkedIn live audio show, which you can join us at 10:30 a.m. Have your say, appear on our podcast. How cool is that? Well, you can do that. But how do you promote it on social channels, particularly things like TikTok? Yes, you can do all the standard things. You can post little clips up there and tell people to go and find you on their podcast player. You can put up little interviews with the guests. You can ask your guests to promote it. You could make a trailer. You can do all the things, But now TikTok is about to make it much easier for podcasters. Since I saw this, I've been looking every day. I don't have it yet, but it's called TikTok Podcast Connect. So what you'll be able to do when it is enabled is you will be able to add your RSS feed. And that is the piece that sends your podcast around all the different channels. You will be able to send that around all the different, you'll be able to get that RSS feed and you'll be able to plug it into TikTok, just like you may have plugged it into Spotify, for example. But once you've done this, when you create a video, you're going to be able to link to an episode that has come in through your RSS feed, which means people will be able to listen to the full episode on TikTok rather than having to go and leave TikTok and find you and forget about it and do it later. I think this is big. But two questions. Well, one question arises. Firstly, will people want to listen to a whole long podcast on TikTok? I don't know. We're going to have to find out about that. And secondly, it just shows TikTok is into the weed-chatification of TikTok. It's trying to be everything to everyone. We know there is TikTok music out there already. We know they're really investing heavily in shopping. And now they're going to be a podcast player. So they're taking on Spotify, they're taking on YouTube, who we know are one of their main competitors, who also launched a podcast product this year. It's going to be interesting to see how this one pans out, but you can believe me, as soon as I have the option, my RSS feed is going up there. I can see we've got comments again. I will put my serious glasses on and answer the comments. You're getting lots of spam in your open group, something you never had to have from that selling Temu. I don't know what Temu is, so luckily I haven't seen that. It's just a case of there are automations you can set up in groups, Lee, that can automatically identify those spam posts, so maybe that is something you can do. I don't know the details of it, but it's something you can do. Didn't Facebook have something that used to log to your pocket? Didn't Facebook have something that used to link to your podcast? Yes, it did. It did used to have something that would link to your podcast, but then it disappeared almost as quickly as it appeared. They got rid of it. Good morning to Howard Howie. Haven't seen you for a while. Just water for you this morning. Well, you're always welcome to be here, Howard Howie. Great to see you. And again, interested in being on our podcast, you don't have to send us a request. You can just come onto LinkedIn at 10:30 a.m, have your say, talk a little bit about your business. You're on our podcast forever and ever. Don't forget, 10:30 a.m, scan that QR code, come and see us. Okay, probably should move on to another story.
Hey, I'm Christine Gritman, and you are watching The Digital Coffee with social media superstar Amanda Webb.
If you want to tag people, more than one person, I've got hair on my face. I need makeup, come here, sort out the hair on my face. Okay, if you want to tag more than one person in an Instagram post, it's a pain, right? You have to do each one, you have to find their thing and do it. And is that them? I don't know. I have to go and check the profile out. It takes forever. But Instagram is now going to make it easier to tag groups of people. According to Adam Mosseri, on his broadcast channel on Instagram, he announced it. He said that you'll be able to group users together to easily tag them. And once you create a group, everyone else in the group will be able to use that tag. So that's going to be really handy for things like if you're on holiday with your mates and you're all sharing together, you'll be able to just one tag all your mates in one, and they'll be able to use that tag too. So it means you'll have, all the memories together in one place. Or if you're at an event, for example, and you've got your bros and your gals around you, you can tag all those because you're going to be using it consistently. That could really help. If you're an event organizer and you want to tag all your speakers in an Instagram post, that will make it much easier, and it'll be easier for them then to promote your event all the way out there. So I think that's cool. But we know there's going to be a downside to this. Yes, it's easier to tag lots of people. So what's going to happen? Spammers. We're going to get loads. And I'm not talking about machine spammers. I'm just talking about that small business down the road that suddenly decides it's going to tag all its customers in all its posts. That's going to happen. We're going to suddenly get all these notifications that we've been tagged in random stuff, which is going to be super annoying. So let's just see. Do the benefits outweigh the spam? We'll have to see. Glad I've got Lee here, because here you go.
Hi, I'm Lee from Wellshot, and you're watching The Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb. Cheers.
What if you spent money to place an ad in a newspaper or a magazine, and then to your horror, when you see it, it's appearing right next to some really nasty, controversial article or some like page 3 girls style thing? Maybe that doesn't fit your brand. Maybe you feel that that might actually damage your brand, unless you're one of the controversial brands that it would fit in with. You might feel that that money was misplaced for your advertising. You don't want people associating those two things together. What if it's a particularly horrible news story and there's been a war and they've got pictures of people with limbs blown off? Maybe, it's not that that news shouldn't be there. You just don't want to have your happy smiley face next to it. Well, a lot of social networks have what they call brand safety. So you can actually choose, where you don't want your ads to be shown. And now Twitter is introducing something similar. And X. Amanda, it's not Twitter. It's X. X is introducing something similar because since Elon Musk took over Twitter / X, he's been hemorrhaging advertisers because obviously he's got his free speech going on, which means there's a lot more hateful content and ugly content and soft porn and that sort of thing. You've run into it. I know you have, if you're still using the platform. There's a lot more stuff there. So advertisers might shy away from being associated, somewhat with the network altogether, but definitely they don't want their ad being placed next to some harassing content or something ugly or some profanity or whatever. So there's a brand new brand safety, and they are calling sensitivity filters from X, and it comes in 3 levels of sensitivity. first one. Relaxed sensitivity. Now, this isn't available yet, but relaxed sensitivity will just mean that your ad won't be shown next to hate speech or explicit sexual content. So basically, day one stuff. Standard will add gore and explicit language. I always find this hilarious that the F word is as offensive as, a dead body. No, it's like, there's something different. Anyway, conservative, and this is the one that really interests me. Conservative, on top of all those, will exclude obscenity, spam, and drugs. Now, I wouldn't consider myself a particularly conservative person. But surely spam should be just like not even on X in the first place. Definitely not next to my ads, even if I was on the spam. Like spam is conservative to not want spam. Spam. That's all I've got to say. Anyway, be interesting to see how advertisers react to this. I am seeing a lot more advertisers already, small business advertisers or local, as in not small, tiny businesses, but like local businesses advertising on Twitter. So obviously there has been an uptake on that, but will this reassure them even more? Who's to know? I can see we've got some comments, so I'm going to put this down and I'm going to put my glasses on. Okay, it's like the everyone tag on Facebook all over again. Yes, back to the Instagram thing. It so is, isn't it, Lee? It's like a horrible, horrible thing. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to call it Twitter like a rebel. Well, well done, making. I'm going to continue calling it Twitter because I can't remember to call it X. That's the thing. I can't get my head around X either. No, it doesn't flow off the tongue, does it? It doesn't flow off the tongue. If they can filter stuff, please get rid of the bots, Elon. Exactly. I don't want... That's the thing. It's actually admitting that they can't. Well, firstly, they don't seem to be able to identify hate speech. So even for the relaxed setting, there's going to be hate speech there. They can't identify spam. So obviously there's going to be spam on all your ads. It's almost like, yeah, your ad won't appear next to that. And you're kind of going, yeah, right, Mr. Musk. Yeah, totally. Ginny says she's with making. It's Twitter, maybe Twitter X. Twitter is my ex. Well, totally not right, because I'm still there. Still paying. Yeah. I just can't give up the Twitter habit. The X habit sounds a lot ruder, doesn't it? Can't give up the X.
Hi, I'm Charlie Lawrence and you're watching The Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
One of the best things about, in my opinion, about Instagram analytics is that bit where it will tell you what sort of content drove which sort of viewers. So, for example, if you look at Reels, very often you'll notice that people who watch your Reels are very often people who don't follow you already, whereas people who look at stories do follow you already. And very rarely are the people who don't follow you seeing your stories. And this can really help you build out your content strategy. Because the people who don't follow you already, you want them to follow you. And the people who do follow you already trust you enough that maybe you want to sell to them. So that's a really good structure for putting behind your Instagram content. And now I'm absolutely delighted that YouTube are doing the same thing. It's in your analytics, it's in the content tab, and you'll see it here. It will tell you, I'm going to look at what it'll tell you. I'll tell you in a minute. It will tell you which videos, shorts or live streams, which one of those content types drove the most viewers, the most repeat viewers, and the most subscribers. So this is mine. In my case, you can see that videos are driving the most new viewers and the most subscribers, whereas live streams, so hello YouTube, anyone watching on live, like Howard Howie, are driving the most repeat viewers. So armed with this information, I can start building a content plan for YouTube. Very similar, I put the wrong thing up. Wouldn't be me if I didn't press the wrong button. Very similar to the way that you can on Instagram. So if I had a larger number of viewers, I would be able to decide that actually maybe I need a stronger call to action in my live streams, because if that's repeat viewers, those are people that trust me more and are more likely to buy from me. Whereas maybe for people that are coming in through shorts and who are coming in through my regular videos, I just want to get them to subscribe or follow so that they may catch my videos later on. I think it's going to be great fun working with that. It does make me want to do more on YouTube again, even though it's terribly, terribly time consuming. Comment here from Simon, who says he's using X. Using X is like whack-a-mole false accounts. XXX spam and bots. It's worse than ever. Yeah, it's not. Well, I do only look at my following tab, which, you know, sadly the people I follow tweet less than they used to, X less than they used to. But I still find some fun. I still find some fun there. It's yeah. Talking of Simon, is this? No, that's not Simon. That's Rob. Here's Rob.
Hello, this is Rob Charles, the voice of Mike on Forever FM on Peter Kay's Car Share. BAFTA award-winning, I've got to say, but I've not seen the BAFTA yet. Anyway, you're watching The Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb. Enjoy. I'm on tea. Shh.
I've got some bad news if you are a fan of TweetDeck. Like, I know at least one person who is a very big fan of TweetDeck. But before I tell you the news, do you remember, anyone here old enough, I think you're an oldie like me, where you remember TweetDeck before Twitter acquired it? You know, when it came out, like Hootsuite was also, they had like a great free tool, and it was like, which will I use, TweetDeck or Hootsuite? I used Hootsuite for many years before I switched to Agora Pulse. Big ad for Agora Pulse there. But that was it. Then Twitter acquired it, and it's really been there since. And one of the nice things about it was it had extra features that you weren't able to get on Twitter itself. You'd have to use TweetDeck. One of the reasons I didn't really use it was it never became mobile when mobile became a thing, because it wasn't a thing when it first came out. When mobile became prominent, you couldn't use it on mobile, and then it was owned by Twitter, and I could only tweet from it, whereas Hootsuite gave me everything across the board. So I never really used it. I did keep an eye on all the new features that were coming, but I didn't really use it. But now it's becoming more obsolete, I think, because a lot of the features that we relied on in TweetDeck are now available in Twitter itself. So a couple of weeks ago, we talked about you can now add team members in Twitter. You don't have to do that in TweetDeck. So now you can do that in Twitter. You don't need TweetDeck to do it. And the scheduling function as well. You know, we've been able to schedule in Twitter for ages. That was something you were only able to do on TweetDeck. I know there's a whole bunch of other features there as well, but it seems that they're moving away from this. Well, it did until they changed the name. Sad. If you can't get your head around X, you're not going to get your head about X Pro. That's what TweetDeck is called now, X Pro. And X Pro has just become X Blue. So users who love TweetDeck logged in the other day and they couldn't get access unless they subscribed to, I don't even know what it's called now, X's subscription service. So it was Twitter Blue, then I think it was Twitter Verified. Now it might be Blue Verified, whatever. You have to pay to get access to TweetDeck. And I know this is going to upset a whole bunch of people who really love this tool, particularly myself and May King's friend Tim Lewis will be devastated, because I know he really relies on this for things like Twitter chats. So really, it's bye-bye TweetDeck, which I don't care really. I don't use it, but I know a lot of people will. I can see Hannah here saying that she just thinks that naming is getting worse. Yeah, X Pro. And it's kind of not ironic, is it, that there is soft porn on Twitter now that you'll stumble upon by accident, and it's called X. Hannah says she loved TweetDeck. I never fell in love with it, really. I think it's because I plumped for Hootsuite back in the day. Never really got on with it, although it does have some cool features. Just have to pay now.
You're watching The Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
The platform that capitalized on AI creation before, well, in a bigger way, or made more of a noise about it than anywhere else, was, of course, the wonderful LinkedIn. Yes. Hello, LinkedIn viewers. That's where I get most of my viewers from these days. The wonderful LinkedIn. So we had things like There were the collaboration articles where they'd automatically like bring together a group of people to talk about a particular topic. There are prompts for your posts. There were prompts for AI messages. All these things were built in pretty fast. Microsoft is really getting in on the AI game. We know that, they have partnered with ChatGPT for their search results within Bing and all sorts of things like that. But now they've added some new amazing features to their sales tool, Sales Navigator. So this is a pro feature you have to pay for from LinkedIn. I've used it. It's really good. When I'm on a sales thing, it's definitely worth the investment in paying for it. But one of the things about Sales Navigator there was that you'd spend an awful lot of time trying to source leads because you'd have to do an awful lot of searches and trolling through stuff to find the people you actually wanted to. So these new AI features are going to be super cool. So firstly, it will automatically identify hot leads for you. So in those searches, rather than you having to look at every single profile, it will highlight the ones it thinks are going to be most valuable to you. The second thing is it's going to allow you to create a persona which will be based on kind of what LinkedIn knows, the demographic stuff that it knows. So things like job title, the geography, the seniority, the function of the person that you want. So you put that together, and then Sales Navigator AI will go around and trawl through people and actually find leads for you or potential leads for you. So it's really going to speed up the process of everything's just fallen down. 1 second. There's my microphone again. It's really going to speed up the process of finding potential customers, which means that's going to give you a whole lot more time to actually get onto the sales bit, the sales calls, the getting in touch with people, the warming up of those leads, rather than the time that you spend on generating them. So I think this is a massively wonderful update from LinkedIn, one that I know that I'll definitely be happy is there the next time I subscribe to Sales Navigator. And that, I'm just going to double check because sometimes I forget a story, but that is all the news for this week. I will be back at 10:30 a.m. firstly, 10:30 a.m. over on LinkedIn live audio with Making. It is the recording of our podcast. You can scan that QR code and just say that you're going to attend the event, and LinkedIn should send you a reminder. Set an alarm for 10:30 in case it doesn't. And then if you join in, you'll be on our podcast. How cool is that? I can see we've got a question just before I finish off, which is good. Am I right? Sarah says, am I right thinking LinkedIn Sales Navigator is just for personal LinkedIn profiles, not for company pages? Yes, Sarah, you would, because it's a sales tool. Obviously, your outreach, you don't want to be from just like company person. It needs to be you working for that specific company. So it is. Yeah, absolutely. Which may or may not work depending on the sort of business that you want to do. Right, that really is it until 10:30 when myself and Making will be discussing one of these stories in more detail. We would love to see you there. You'll also find out who won the internet and who lost the internet this week, according to us. If you can't make that, I will be back here, same bat time, same bat place next week. Until then,